Welcome back to the bench. Today we continue to work on the VS4-10 Phoenix Vanquish vehicle. Today we are going to do bag H. Bag H, as you can see, is a bunch of add-on parts. So we'll start by opening up the bag. Radiators and fenders and inner fenders and a bunch of parts, hardware, some battery holders, few tie rod ends. Alrighty. Let's see. First thing we are going to do is slide, let's see, bumpers. Alrighty. Get yourself a good pair of nippers. And you can nip these off pretty close. Might have to trim a little bit off, or just use a razor blade. I don't even know where I got this one off at. There it is. Okay. So the bumpers, pretty straightforward. Front bumper has a winch place here. Remember, you can put a winch in this. There's a place for a servo winch. So the front bumper, put that on first. Pretty simple. Slides in a couple of holes, and then you just lock it in place. And I got it upside down, probably. And it's adjustable for different sized bodies. We're just going to stick it in there all the way. And it has two different screws, sets of screws. Don't know why. But one of them is these interesting, I can't think of the name of them right now. Probably don't even have a name on here for them. But of course they go through the holes in the top right above the, and they go in the bottom underneath. I'm not sure I understand this. It's kind of interesting. There's two sets of screws. I do not know why there are these pins and then there are screws, and I'm not sure which ones do which. The pins go into the bumper. Okay. Hold the bumper in place. Again, there are the ones that look like this. And they go in to hold the bumper in the adjustment holes. And then there's two other holes And basically you put 2 screws in there. I don't even know what they're for. They're M3 8mm, and they go in these other holes. But they don't seem to have, they're not holding anything. We'll put them in. That's what it says to do. Okay, so that's the front. Now we'll put in the rear. And it's basically the same deal. Alrighty then. Next we have sliders, which are plastic, of course. Sure, you can upgrade them to metal ones, and probably in the future we will. But right now we are making the kit as it is given to us. And there's 2 parts to these sliders. An upper part and a lower part. So, this is the lower part, this is the upper part. They go together just like this. We've got this is the hole in the end of it here. The rounded edge here goes on the whole end. And yeah, there's 3 screws holding that in, and they are the tapered type heads. I'm not sure why this last screw over here don't want to start. The holes are not lining up. There it goes. All right, so again, this hole, this rounded end, go together like this. There's 3 screws holding this together, which go in from this side. Tapered heads on the screws. All right, now those go on the slider rockets, I guess. And the curved part goes toward the rear of the vehicle. Okay, that's kind of strange too. All right, and those are held on with some 4mm You do not want to tighten these screws up until you get them all started. These are alrighty then. Next is inner fenders, walls, if you want to call them that, I guess. And those are only on the front. Alrighty then. Okay, I have the shock tower in the wrong holes on this side. Oh my goodness. And to get those out, I got to take the shock off. All right, I'll be right back when I move it. Okay, now that we got the shock tower back in the correct spot, let's see if it fits now. Okay, much better. All right, so 2 screws in the front, 1 in the back to hold it on, and they are some more of these 3x10 by 4. Okay, so put the 2 front screws in. Okay, then we put the electronics plates on and screw that down along with the fender flare inserts. So here are the electronic plates, and they go, there are 2 different kinds. One has these on the end of it, the other does not. So the one with the 2 little hole or screw holes here goes on this side, and this one goes on this side. The one without the nubs goes on this side. Okay, and then there's 2 screws holding that on. Those are the tapered ones. Alright, so the electronics plates, the inner fender walls, and then the same thing on the other side. Alright, now the front screws. Alrighty then. Put the inner fender wells in. Next we have 2 LED plates for your rock lights. Here, I have lights that we will put in later. But right now we will just put the LED light holders in place. We do not have the light, we have a light kit, but we'll skip that part for now. We'll just put these on and we'll put the lights in later when I do the whole light kit. Now, I did not buy Vanquish's light kit, so we'll see what happens. I'm sure Vanquish has one that fits this, but I bought an aftermarket one. So we'll see how that works out in the future. Okay, they have one for if you don't put no lights in, and a different one for if you do put lights in. Okay, so we're gonna leave the ones that we do for without lights, and we're gonna put the ones in that you use for lights. That's this one right here. These are for if you don't have any lights. And they're held in with some pretty small screws, I'm sure. There's some that are not quite as small as those. Just follow the instructions on the. Make sure you check. I was just assuming. You know what assume does. Yeah, makes an ass of you and me. A-S-S-U-M-E. Assume. Okay. Now, fans and radiator. Fan covers. And of course, I'm sure they go on the front. So the fans go over the little screw hole inside the radiator. And then the covers go over that. And you can't even see the fans. But they're in there. We know they're in there. And we are using tapered heads again. Okay, so I turned and looked at the camera, and the SD card was full, and the camera quit. So, the radiator, I got it on after it just bolts to both of these inner fender wells. Alright, next is the servos for the overdrive and the dig function. First one is the overdrive function. Okay, this is the servo holder, has two knobs on it. The servo goes in with the gear away from the screw tab here, and it's put in with these caps. Servo is on the servo plate. And we also have a link, very short link, that we need to put these link ends on and get the old link tool out. That'll just barely fit in there, I'll tell you, to hold it. And put your screwdriver around in and just twist until you get it all the way down to close to the link shaft, and then check it and make sure it's the length that they want the link to be for this shift arm, or servo arm shifting, overdrive shift arm. Screw them and snug them up tight. Make sure they're lined up across from each other. Alrighty. Now, servo arm goes on so it's out toward the tabs. We're going to assume this servo's in the middle. You can't really tell until you turn them on. Put some power to them and then they'll center. But we're hoping that that's centered. If not, I'll show you how to adjust them when we get to that point. Okay? Alright, so we have on my servos here, we have a screw to tighten it up against the gear. And then we also have a servo or a screw that goes in the top of the servo. Now these servos are 20 kg, which is probably overkill, but they only cost like 15 bucks a piece. So, you know, why not? And in the bag is a screw that goes down in the top of the servo horn to hold it in place. Okay, now put the little bushings inside the link. So you just put a little pressure on these. Vanquish makes this pretty simple. And that goes on the top of the arm. And then, so it looks like this when you're done. Servo mount with the tab, with screw hole tab out. The link over here, the gear on this side, away from these. And then that goes on this electronics plate. There are 3 places for that servo mount to be mounted to. And then this arm will be mounted to the little lever that moves it in and out of Overdrive. Alrighty, so now we have the Overdrive switching servo in. All right, now the battery plate. Here, Vanquish provided for the batteries. And according to Vanquish, they go in here, 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 and all right, got them in. And it looks to me like this has 2 of these. Something else that goes on here. I don't know what these are for. They don't even have a name on them. Oh, they're wire holders. optional wire routing. We'll put them on there in case we need to run some wires. We'll have them. Alrighty. Servo is mounted. Now, the servo horn according to this is mounted like this. Which I know if this servo is centered, it's centered like this. We will find out when we turn it on. And again, I will show you how to make adjustments to your servo horn, servo, all that when we power it up. And then a little screw goes in the top of the servo, holding everything in place. Okay, we have another servo link. Put the link ends in. Get my link tool. Hold my link. And put my wrench in here. And twist them on. They make a tool that you can put in your drill and zzz. I don't know, I haven't kicked in and bought that. I can do it this way pretty quick. This link tool holding the link from spinning makes life pretty simple. Make sure it's the length they want. Alrighty, then this goes on here after we put the bushings in. And it looks to me like it's facing this way, away from these tabs out here. 12mm screw. Okay. Now, this goes on chassis. Man, this sucker's getting heavy. Like so. So the shifting rod, get all the wires out of the way, goes right onto the end of this arm, and I'm going to do that first just because it looks like it might be a pain in the butt. Then again, maybe not. Nope. Pretty simple. Alrighty. Then this, man, these wires, sets on the two electronic plates. There's some offsets that it goes into. And it's held down with some 25mm screws. And those are tapered head screws. I'd be glad I got a drill on these. I hate, ooh, that's a long screw. But we got it. Okay. And then there's 4 screws. 12 millimeter. That go into the back. Alrighty. Okay guys, we have put in the servos for the overdrive, the servos for the dig function, the radiator, fender wells, bumpers, battery tray, and that is bag H. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Next time we'll do bag I. Have a great day.